Hey everyone, as I highlighted last week, rising uncertainty and the volatility of so much of the data we normally follow has made the short-term outlook more unpredictable. So I'm focusing more of my attention on longer-term metrics to help investors shape their strategies. Demographic trends are a powerful tool investors can use to look forward, even when there may be short-term volatility. My video last week focused on how the aging baby boom population will affect medical office space demand. This week, I want to focus on how the millennial generation will bolster the rental housing market over the next several years. I do want to reiterate though, that even though I focused on medical office last week and I'm looking at housing this week, the demographic trends I'm talking about influence all types of commercial real estate. Now, as I've highlighted in the past, there are about 73 million millennials ranging in age from their late 20s to early 40s. And the bulk of this generation are in the midst of a variety of significant life milestones. The median age of marriage is about 29 years old, and many of the millennial generation are in the midst of family formation. And that's having a significant impact on the housing market. There are a couple of factors in play. First, the enormous wave of millennials in their prime household formation years is a core underlying housing demand driver. And even though the leading edge of this cohort is aging into their 40s, they're staying in rental housing longer. Apartment lease renewal rates have been climbing over the last year, and they're currently in the 55% range. And a key factor influencing that trend has been the fact that fewer renters are transitioning into homeownership. That trend reflects a few things. The quality of life in apartment rentals has improved tremendously over the years, with more services and amenities, higher caliber finish levels, and better floor plans. Apartment developers have really improved their product lines to make them more appealing to tenants, which has to a degree mitigated the desire for homeownership of many young adults. That's not to say that people in their 20s and 30s and 40s don't want to own a home, but the gap between the quality of housing they can rent compared to the quality of housing they can afford to buy has grown wider than it was in the past. Over the last few years, the median price of a single-family residence has increased substantively. The median price has increased by 6.1% over the last year, and home prices are up almost 50% compared to the beginning of 2020. So homeownership affordability has come down quite a bit. On average, the payment on a median-priced home, including the estimated principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, is about $3,100 per month, while the average apartment rent in the US is about $1,830 per month. That's a gap of almost $1,300. So as a result, a lot of young adults are choosing to delay their first home purchase. In 2010, the median age of a first-time home buyer was 30 years. In 2020, it was 33 years. In 2022, it's 36 years. And last year, the median age of a first-time home buyer was 38 years old. So the millennial generation has been delaying their transition into homeownership, and while that could change in the coming years, I don't see a dramatic movement. Home builders simply aren't adding enough single-family houses to put downward pressure on prices, and at this point, mortgage rates aren't showing any signs of an impending decline. Looking forward 5 years, although things could change, it looks like the US will continue to face a housing shortage, and there will continue to be a significant affordability gap between homeownership and renting. At the same time, the quality of rental housing continues to improve, sustaining the livability of apartments. As I look forward over the span of years, I believe the demand for rental housing will remain strong, and at the same time, we're seeing a slowdown in the pace of housing construction. That implies to me that rental housing vacancy rates will likely trend lower as we see strengthening rent growth. So while the short-term outlook is very difficult to discern because of the volatility of so many metrics, when you focus on the longer-term perspective and consider how demographics will shape the housing market, there's much more clarity, which is why investors always need to keep their eyes on the horizon.